Hey everyone, I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me today because we are diving into something that is a total game changer for human health. We're exploring the fascinating concepts from Dr. Peter Attia's work on longevity. Now, as someone who researches this stuff constantly, I can tell you that for decades, we've had medicine completely backward. We literally wait until we're broken, and then we try to glue the pieces back together. But today, we're talking about a massive paradigm shift. We're moving from a reactive, waiting around approach to a proactive strategy. The goal? Not just adding more years to your life, but crucially, adding real life to those years.
To really grasp how urgent this shift is, I want you to picture something. It's a vivid, recurring dream the author actually had back during his surgical residency. Imagine you're standing on a city sidewalk, holding a padded basket. Suddenly, eggs just start raining down from the sky, literally plummeting. You're running around frantically trying to catch them before they smash. You manage to save a few, sure, but most of them splatter all over the pavement, ruining your shoes. You're exhausted. You're completely overwhelmed. Well, when dealing with late-stage cancer patients, that is exactly what modern medicine feels like. We are desperately trying to catch falling eggs just a split second before they hit the ground.
This dream of the falling eggs, it points us directly to the massive flaw in how we do things.
And the flaw is this: trying to catch those eggs at the bottom is ultimately completely futile. The only real, permanent solution is to climb up to the roof of that building, find the guy throwing the eggs, and stop him in his tracks. That reactive approach of waiting for the eggs to fall, that's what we call medicine 2.0. It's great if you're in a car crash, but for chronic diseases, it just waits. On the flip side, we have our new paradigm, medicine 3.0. This approach is relentlessly proactive. It marches right up to the roof and intervenes decades earlier, long before any disease actually takes root.
So that brings up the big question. Who exactly is up on the roof throwing these eggs?
If we want to stop the onslaught, we have to know our enemy. In the longevity space, we call these silent, invisible threats the four horsemen. We're talking about heart disease, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, and type 2 diabetes and metabolic dysfunction. Now, Medicine 2.0 treats these like sudden, out-of-the-blue events. Boom, you have a heart attack. But the reality? If someone has a heart attack at 60, that disease has been quietly building up in their arteries since they were in their 30s. These are incredibly slow, compounding processes that take decades to develop.
And that leads us straight to the dangerous era of the late diagnosis.
You see, our medical system is totally trapped in this binary mindset. You're either sick or you're healthy. Take the number 6.5%. That's the hemoglobin A1C threshold used to diagnose type 2 diabetes. If you hit 6.5%, boom, alarms go off. You get the official diagnosis, and the heavy medications come out. But what if your test comes back at 6.4%? Well, you're told you're just pre-diabetic. You're advised to maybe wait and see, perhaps go for a jog. It is completely absurd. We treat 6.4% like everything is basically fine, while 6.5% is a red alert emergency.
The absolute crucial takeaway here is that you have to act way before the crash. Type 2 diabetes isn't a sudden infection you just catch. It's the final stop on a very, very long train ride of metabolic dysfunction. Being told you have pre-diabetes, that just means the eggs are already falling at terminal velocity. True proactive longevity demands that we take action on our metabolism decades before even a single clinical symptom shows up.
To do that, we need to completely rethink how we look at food and focus on nutritional biochemistry and insulin.
First off, ditch the word diet. It's a distraction. What really matters is how our cells are actually processing fuel, and the absolute king of this process is the hormone insulin. Think of a muscle cell in your body like a balloon. The carbs you eat get turned into glucose. Let's call that the air. Insulin is the pump trying to push that air into the balloon. But if you're sedentary and overeating, that balloon is already stretched to the absolute limit. Your cells resist taking in any more energy. So what happens? Your poor pancreas works overtime, pumping out more and more insulin to force the air in. Having chronically high insulin levels like that is a massive, blaring warning siren for your health.
Okay, so how do we actually manage this day-to-day without a medical degree? Here's a super simple three-step approach. First, measure. Using a continuous glucose monitor, or a CGM, gives you real-time data about your own body. Second, observe. A bowl of oatmeal might be perfect for your best friend, but it might send your personal blood sugar through the roof. It's highly individual. And third, adapt. You don't have to guess anymore. Sometimes just tweaking when you eat your carbs, like having them right after a tough workout instead of right before bed, can dramatically transform your metabolic response. It's a real game changer. But here's the catch. None of this nutritional biochemistry matters if your basic foundations are crumbling. We need to talk about sleep and emotional health.
Because honestly, you could have the most perfect eating habits in the world, but it won't save you if you're miserable. You have to ask yourself a really profound question. Why would you want to live longer if you're so unhappy? This was a huge, humbling realization for the author. He was obsessed with the science of living to 100, but he was completely consumed by stress. Extending your lifespan means absolutely nothing if you aren't prioritizing emotional joy, human connection, and mental well-being. A longer life in a state of misery? That's just a prolonged prison sentence.
And standing right next to emotional health is sleep. The old medical mindset treated sleep as a luxury. Medicine 3.0, it recognizes sleep as the most powerful performance-enhancing drug on the planet. Getting deep sleep actively reduces that insulin resistance we just talked about. Even crazier, it triggers a system that literally washes your brain, clearing out the plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. It's like a nightly dishwasher for your mind. In fact, studies have shown that if you take young, incredibly fit Navy SEALs and deprive them of sleep, their blood profile suddenly looks like the old man blood of someone decades older. It's absolutely vital.
So, how do we put all of this into practice? Let's map out your personal metabolic roadmap.
It is time to stop being a passive passenger and become the captain of your own health. The standard cholesterol test from your doctor, it's just not enough anymore. You need to look for the absolute earliest warning signs, those very first eggs falling. Your post-meal insulin should return to baseline rapidly. Your ratio of triglycerides to HDL cholesterol should be under 2-to-1. We want to keep a close eye on VLD, which are these sneaky particles that carry dangerous fats, and make sure your uric acid stays low. These specific early warning markers are exactly what tell us if a metabolic storm is brewing years before any official diagnosis.
So I want to leave you with this final, critical question. Are you still waiting down on the ground with a basket, trying to catch the falling eggs as they smash? Or are you ready to take control and climb up to the roof? Longevity is not a spectator sport. I want to challenge you to adopt this Medicine 3.0 mindset starting today. Stop accepting the old, let's wait and see advice. Become the architect of your own health. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack all of this, and I seriously challenge you, take that first step toward the roof today.